What's going on, guys? Today I figured I'd upload a little bit of a different video to kind of show you a pretty cool app. You can get this on your computer as well as your smartphone or tablets or whatever devices you have. It's called Bitwarden, and I use this for everything that I log in. It's encrypted so that whenever I put a password in, it'll take it out of encrypted vault, and only with a master password, and even more security if you want to add it, will allow it to fill in or autofill into login fields. And it will do it in a way where it is also encrypted and isolated from the browser itself, but it sends the proper credentials to let the website know, hey, this is this person, here's his credentials, and it will let you in. So this is a lot safer than, obviously keeping stuff on your browser in its own password manager, because those can be hacked pretty easily if not encrypted. This would be into a encrypted vault. So you also have a level of encryption that you can start off with by default, and you have to set it up this way, but default level of encryption of this type of setting on this program would be government level. Then you can go even higher. Depends on the speed of your and power of your device, but it does have an awesome encryption algorithm and a few of others that you can pick from. So now I even have two-step login, so that way if anyone else logs in or tries to log into my account even on another device, they won't be able to do it unless I okay it. Sort of like what you can do with Google or any other service. I also have biometrics on. I have I did have pin code. I should put that back on. But also you can do something about like your vault timeout. So you'd have to like say put in your master password again, or you can put in a pin number. Pin code is actually, yeah, I think that's what it is. So when your vault say locks, instead of putting in your master password, you can do a pin code. I like to have my biometrics and things like that set up, so every time it times out on my phone, I can just do that. So what I'll do here is 5 minutes. You can do it to 1, especially if you're not doing anything else. After 1 minute, it will lock, so nothing else can get in, or at least try to get a look. And then you can do the reaction of what it will do. Log out completely if you'd like. So after 5 minutes, it can log you out, and then you have to do the master passcode again. So they also have you can export your vault. So if you had to do a new algorithm change, you might want to do that so that it doesn't mess anything up in your vault. Because if it does, for any reason, and anything can happen, you because the encryption's been changed, you won't be able to see all the stuff that's in your vault, right? Because it didn't do it properly. So, but if you export your vault, an encrypted version of it, it will allow you to reload it in, and it will fix that problem. So, yeah, basically that's this all set up, and then I can sync it. So sync vault now. So from any other device, and then basically now if I were to go to generator, you can do password generators, right? So let's say up here you see this one, right? So I say, what would you like to generate? Password. Password type, length. You can, so for instance, if you wanted to do one for a website that allowed you to do 16, or let's say whatever, not that long, geez. All right, whatever, 18. So special characters. So if you could do that as well, put that in there. Minimum numbers, 1. So I would say, yeah, leave that for that. And then avoid ambiguous characters. Okay. There you go, right? So this is just going to generate that for you. And what's cool about this is that because you're saving it into your vault, right, and you have access to it on your devices, if you never really have to type these in yourself and make your own password up, you can do these. And these will do it for you and do the same thing as if you put your own in. So as long as you have access to your vault, you'll have access to your accounts. Now, if you can remember off the top of your head passwords to your accounts and you lose access to your vault for whatever reason, you can still get into your accounts. However, if you do it this way, if you don't remember these passwords and don't write them down, and then you lose access to your vault, you're screwed. So just think of it before you use the password generator. You want to make sure you don't screw yourself completely. But this is basically, the strongest way you're going to get passwords and stuff and be able to put it in. So you want to make sure your stuff is basically uncrackable. And that's Bitwarden. So another thing I want to show you guys is there's a pretty cool, two cool things, F-Droid and Aurora Store. There's actually another one I had at one point that's sort of like a modernized version of F-Droid, but let me show you F-Droid real quick. So this is another way of getting Android apps on your phone instead of having to go through Google Play, right? So let's say that For instance, you had some podcasts you used to listen to, and for some reason Google Play took them off, or they didn't have a contract, or whatever the reason, and they decided to offer their podcast through another means, right? And they had their own app, or maybe there was another third-party app that would still link to their podcast, and you wanted to get that. Well, you can go through a different store. Obviously, people are going to say, well, it may not be safe. Well, you know what? If you know what you're doing, it's safe. This is safe for the majority. I know that things can happen, but they can also happen on Google Play. You just got to be careful and smart and look things up, and you'll be fine. Everything on here is open source, and it's, if you know anything about open source, you'll know that this is not something to be completely terrified about. So this is something where I'll find a lot of cool apps that I will put on to my phone, test them out, things like that. And another one, again, that is really cool is Aurora Store. Now, what this is that it's supposed to act as another front end, is what they call it. Another means to connect to the Google Play Store servers. And instead of getting all the trackers and all that stuff on in every download, which you do get, you'll only get the APK file, right? Straight from their servers. So you know it's okay because they check it with viruses. At least that's what they tell you. So you'll get the safer ones instead of having to go to another website, right? But sometimes you have to go to other websites and get their APK file to install on your phone. So they just call this Aurora Store. So it's going to. Now, I already have a session in, but you can log out, do anonymous, or you can actually log in with your real Google account if you want. It's fine. If it's just easier for you, you can do it. Right now, I noticed that for some reason on the anonymous accounts, it's not loading a lot of things. So I wonder if Google has found a way to put a stop to that. That's fine. So if you do have that issue, but you still want to download stuff from Google Play without having all the extra bloatware that comes with the install files that they put on your phone, which they do sometimes in the background, trackers, things like that. This would be the way to filter that out. You even have like a spoof manager, stuff like that. And anything that you find that isn't a good app or bad, you can blacklist it so you don't see it again. So let me show you real quick. So when it counts, right? So if I log out, because this is an anonymous one, normally they'll have Google anonymous and then anonymous insecure. I guess that's kind of like not encrypted or something, but you can just go to your Google account, put in the information, just like for your phone, and you'll be fine because it's going to encrypt everything. Again, open source is almost always better, safer. They focus on privacy, where a lot of these big corporations don't. So those are two cool apps on top of Bitwarden there. Another one here is NewPipe. Now, basically what this is, again, is a YouTube app, like app, but it gets rid of the ads. It gets rid of a lot of the bloat, things like that you just don't want to deal with. You have the ability to listen to music or watch videos and then turn your phone off and still have it play in the background. A lot of premium features that you couldn't normally get, or more features that they keep taking away from people and then try to resell to you. They have on that. Now, I'm not condoning screwing anyone over, be it Google or any of the creators. So I would say that, always use original apps, but also if you choose to just use NewPipe, find a way to support these people. Obviously, if you're buying stuff from Google and you're watching these YouTubers or whatever and you allow ads and things like that on, say, another app or something, that's fine. But just keep in mind, I'm not trying to condone people to get around everything, but it's just another method to use to watch videos without having to wait forever, especially when sometimes you have problems with ads popping up. And of course, we have these other apps here, Rumble and Odyssey, next to having YouTube. This being, so NewPipe, let me show you this real quick. So it's just showing random stuff right now. And the thing about this program is you don't log in with any account at all. The whole point is anonymity. I can't even say that right. Being anonymous, right? You're not trying to have a bunch of trackers and things like that from Google or whoever else. So if you wanted to have like a de-Googleified phone, Google-fied phone, you would have apps like this. Okay, so here's this. It'll just show random trending stuff. You can, however, subscribe to users you can search for at the top, and you can even make like for instance, you can add channel groups. So you can have like politics, entertainment, food, gaming, and you can add all these in here and then move these subscriptions into those channels. So what will happen is, as long as you have this installed on your phone, it will save everything, just as if you had an account where you were subscribing to YouTube channels. You can't comment because you don't have an account to do so, but you can read comments, right? So you'll be able to do a lot of this on here without having to worry about it. Let's see if I can find something on say gaming for some reason. Try to pick one where they're not going to be like, oh, it's violent, you can't show this. Well, pretty much everybody already is showing it, so kind of give you an idea. So when I start playing a video, it will. Yeah, let's do this. It's fine. All right, so you can see all the comments and stuff. You can even download. Okay, and again, I'm not trying to condone piracy or anything like that, but let's see. Let's move this out of the way real quick so I can do that. Okay, so I'm just moving that because I want to make sure that I don't get no copyrights on here. So that just shows basically the app here. So like I said, you can have all this. You can do background. So if you hit this, I'm guessing this will go into like a kind of a, yeah, so it's playing in the background, right? So after I take that off, hold to, yeah, okay, so we'll play it again. And you have like a little window you can do here if I do pop up, add to a list. So you have playlist just like you do on YouTube. You can make your own playlist and then add certain videos to it and stuff like that. So you have a lot of the same capability. Now, if I wanted to download this, it will let me download it in different file types. I only advise if you do download anything, ask the creators, see if it's okay, if they have like a public use policy or anything like that. I know a lot of stuff's open forum and all that, but you just want to make sure people don't get mad, right? So if you have like your own channel, for instance, and you want to back up all of your videos, as long as you know like what you did to render your videos onto your YouTube channel and the quality, try to stay as close to that quality as possible when downloading. I would probably advise doing it in a third-party way where you're just copying the file that's already on the server as is, the highest quality in audio and video possible. But if you could do it with something like this, go for it, right? At least you have a backup of the videos, right? You know that they existed at one point. So you could easily download them, save them to an SD card, save them to your internal memory, move them to a computer, upload them, whatever. You have them backed up. So that's basically what NewPipe is. And I'm trying to find something else to show you that's pretty cool. Obviously, VLC Media Player, open source, a great media player, I think. Proton Mail, again, this is encrypted mail. Now, I haven't created an account yet, but if I did, I would. This is probably what I'm going to be using from now on because I like to have everything encrypted as much as possible because you never know in this world today. And yeah, I mean, they got all sorts of other cool apps that you can find in these stores. But again, you can also, find YouTube videos or videos online explaining some of the better open source apps that you can get out there. For instance, if I were to, I don't know if it's on this one. I think it is, but it might actually be on the Play Store. Oh, so if you want a really cool app, if you listen to podcasts a lot, right? So let me show you this one first, and then I'll get to the other one. So AntennaPod is really cool because what it does is that connects to a bunch of servers around the world and on the internet that basically have open podcasts for people to listen to. So you're not stealing anything, nothing like that. They're already out there in the public. And as far as I know, I'm not condoning any thievery. Again, disclaimer. But this allows you to listen to basically any podcast that you can find through this app. So add podcasts, all right? So let's say just for giggles, because yeah, I like watching them. It's fine. All right, so here it is. So the Glenn Beck program, right? Let's say I just wanted to subscribe to him. Sorry, it's so slow. Could be that my extender right now is having issues. So I subscribe, right? So there's that. And so let's say I go back and I had a list. Okay. So we're going to go to subscriptions. Say I click on it. Oh, this is odd. I'm not sure why things aren't running and playing. Okay, so yeah, so home. Let's say that I go to this guy's podcast page. You can download it, listen to it, or you can stream it. Okay, and so I could just play the whole podcast, just like that. Boom, right here at my fingertips. Bunch of other people you can find. You may not find everybody, but again, that's a really cool app. to get into. So sorry if I forgot what I was trying to mention earlier, but again, yeah, so AntennaPod, I already installed that. Yeah, so okay, maybe you have to get this on. Yeah, so let's say that I don't think I can find anything on here right now until I sign into my original account. But let's say, yeah. Oh, lets me look at some of it, but for some reason it doesn't always work. Yeah, so okay. So right now what's happening is that I'm installing this, again, another cool open source encrypted end-to-end messenger sort of that uses RCS messaging over SMS and MMS. So this is sort of like we'd be using for like, say, Mac OS or Apple or iOS or whatever they call it. For their operating system, they have like messaging services that are encrypted, right? So that's what you'd be using on there. And a lot of people talk about the green bubble problem, which is basically anyone on the other end that is using Android that's not encrypted because they haven't really done their own messaging service yet. So to get around that, basically, I use Signal. Now you have to be online when you're using it, okay? You have to be on mobile or Wi-Fi, regardless. Now, if you tie your phone and your text messages through it, be careful because sometimes weird things can happen. You may or may not always get your texts or your messages. It can happen, but you have to be online every time. So if you're one of those people that always leaves your phone online, like mobile data or whatever, unlimited, and you're not worried about it burning out your battery and you're killing your phone and all that stuff, then fine. But that's when you'll be able to get calls and text messages through this. Tell everybody else you're using it; they can get it too, and that will make sure both ends are completely encrypted. Because I think that's really the only way it works. And then everybody uses this app, and they will be able to pull that off. So let's take a look at it real quick. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. So yeah, it will say my phone number, right? So I'm not going to get into this right now because what's going to happen is I ran into this before where I kind of hooked it up and it caused issues only because for some reason something else was messed up. I just want to make sure to avoid it again. But it will ask you your phone number. And then what will happen is that it will funnel this through online through the Signal servers. So I just wanted to show you that. I don't want to go through the setup right now. But that's another cool thing to use. So another app that I have, I'm pretty sure I have on here anyway. If I don't, yes. So OpenBoard. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find, okay, disable learning of new words. Yes, that's fine. I want to put up all much security as I can. Preferences, number row. Yes, I want that. Language switch key. Don't need that. Show emoji key. Got it. Right brain and key press. That's fine. Clipboard key. Press to copy. Long press to paste. Fair enough. Text correction. You can set up all sorts of stuff. Block offensive words. Don't need to do that. Auto correction. Personalized. So a lot of these, if you turn these off, this also helps to keep this stuff out of the memory of your phone. So if anyone's scanning memory, they won't be able to find it, even though it's encrypted in case they crack that. If that's it's always possible, anything can happen. Appearance and layouts. Enable key resizing. So basically, in a nutshell, right now this is what I have selected. So if I were to want to change the keyboard, I think what I'll have to do right now, say I got this clip here. All right, there's got to be an option to do this. Can't really remember at this moment like how I did this before, but I know that no payment. I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm trying to fill out. So see, you can manage passwords. Now I do no save passwords with Vault Bitwarden. So if I put this in right now because I haven't actually gone into my account through this browser yet, it would save it right here. So Bitwarden would work with Bitwarden to get into Bitwarden. Get it? But that's pretty cool. So anyway, I can't figure out right now how to change the input method. It usually happens right when you open OpenBoard, and all that is that basically it's an encrypted version of a keyboard like Samsung keyboard or Google keyboard. Those are easily hacked. They constantly log everything, tracks everything. They depend on you like doing stuff like that most of the time. So when you use OpenBoard, what happens is that you get rid of all that crap. You can choose what stays in the memory of your phone. Like if you want to do autocorrection, remember things, use suggestions, all that stuff can be disabled and it makes it more safe. Might be a pain in the butt, but it's actually something to keep you more safe on top of encryption. So even with the encryption, you can then make sure that your memory is not storing things. So that way, when you're using the keyboard, anyone who does phishing or is trying to log your keystrokes, for instance, they won't be able to do it. So that's why I always tell people to get open board. You can also resize it and things like that. You saw some of the settings. So, but these are some cool programs that I thought I would share with people, because this is, if you don't want a ton of stuff from Google, or you don't want a lot of the same old, apps that sometimes want you to pay for them later down the road, there's other stuff that you can actually use to get around that. Or with these companies and these third parties or open source teams, you can get the same power and use out of your phone with different apps that you would probably have to pay for in others. So hopefully that's helpful. And again, I'm using Surfshark. This is not like an advertisement, but I use Surfshark for my VPN service, and that's what's connected already. And make sure I'm connected on that as well. There's also, I believe, there used to be a program called ScreenWings that used to work on Android, but I think they haven't updated that in a while. But it used to make it so that you couldn't take screenshots. And there's actually a setting under Bitwarden here. Let me do this real quick. Where you can't record the screen. And I don't know if you have to, yeah, so allow screen capture. See how that's on? You're able to see this right now because I have that on. If I turn that off, so let me do it real quick, you'll probably see the screen go black. So if it's turned black, that's why. So turn it back on. I don't know if it's showing you now, but that's what that does. So basically, if you saw that, if that actually happened on this video as it's recording, ScreenWings does that similar thing where it blocks the whole screen from anyone taking screenshots or anything like that. So if you're worried about people doing that, if you can find an anti-screenshot software for your phone, that's awesome to have. I just know ScreenWings was like the best one at the time, but they have not updated in a long time, which sucks because it's really useful. But again, this is my little video for you guys, and hopefully you've been able to hear me properly. First time doing this off a phone. And yeah, I will upload this soon, and we will go from there. And if you want to see me make any more videos about stuff like this, feel free to drop in comments, like the video, share it. You know how the algorithm is on this website? You've probably seen a lot of my videos have like no views. Well, they don't really like me, I guess. So it would help if you would spread the word. So thanks, guys, and I will catch y'all later.